Hello, Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. And today, before I get into this video, I just want to let you know if you do enjoy this video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe and hit that notifications bell so that it lets you get notified of future videos. Now, granted, you still might not get notified because, well, you know, YouTube seems to hate me. If that's the case, you can go down to the info bar below and you can join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. I do just some random giveaways planned and things like that for the future that you can also get something in return because we like to give back. But Little Frugal and I, as well as American Dream, will greatly appreciate that support, and then you'll get notified. So with that gets said, let's jump right into the target of today's video. And that is, who is your Robin? You know, throughout the Batman history, there has been quite a few Robins, not all boys as well. He has quite a legacy, and that was even for the We Are Robin series, which, you know, made it almost impossible to count. So let's talk about the major Robins, and then maybe you could share in the comments section why one of the Robins is your favorite. I'll definitely share mine. Now, if you're not familiar with why Robin came to be, Robin actually came to be in order to boost comic sales of Batman. Batman was actually down in sales, and so they decided to add a younger character, a boy character, to bring in more readers. And that's how we got the first Robin, Dick Grayson. He was the original. Possibly the most famous and popular. He's taken over the mantle several times as Batman. Covering from him, he was introduced by Bob Kane and Bill Finger and Jerry Robinson in the 1940s, and Detective Comics number 38. So once again, as I said, the goal with that was to make the book more accessible to kids and grow that younger readership. And it did work. It nearly doubled the sales of the Batman comic at the time. So, if you're not familiar with Dick Grayson, he was the child of the Flying Graysons, and unfortunately his parents were killed in an accident, which wasn't really an accident, alright, for doing their performance at the circus. So anyway, Batman took on him, and he became a Robin. And it did not last forever. The comics got more dark and sophisticated eventually in the 70s, and Robin was used less frequently, so we started seeing him in the books less and less. Dick Grayson was therefore allowed to age then some too. We seen him grow up a little bit in the comics. He also attended a university, and eventually in '84 he became Nightwing. So he left and abandoned that Robin persona to become his own hero, and that left the position vacant. So later on, in 1983 actually, Jason Todd, which was 1 year by the way before he became Nightwing, Jason Todd was the second Robin, and historically one of the very interesting Robin because he wasn't really well liked actually. He was introduced in Batman 357. It was also, by the way, the first appearance of Killer Croc. He was a lot like Dick Grayson. Really, he looked very, very similar, but he always seemed to be more hard-edged, if you will, in the book, and not as easygoing as Dick was. So you had that disconnect there. But there, it changed even farther. Later on, there was actually a vote to see if people wanted Jason Todd killed off or to continue, and it was a very, very close vote. And they voted Jason Todd to die. I actually didn't. I voted to save him. I liked Jason Todd, but he died. And of course, though, like any other superhero, just about, they always come back. And that's a good thing, because believe it or not, I think he came back as a stronger, better hero known as the Red Hood. So that was Jason Todd. Now, shortly after, too, we had Carrie Kelly. But the difference with this female Robin is she wasn't really in the canon continuity. She made her way in the Batman The Dark Knight Returns. That was her first appearance. She was rescued by Batman, and now even she was, you know, she deserves to get some attention because she was created by the legendary artist Frank Miller. And that was a very, very popular book. But nonetheless, it's not really canon. But I'll still let her go in the running since she was popular. The next Robin I'd like to mention is Tim Drake. Tim Drake was the third actual Robin, because remember, the other one, Carrie, was not canon. So he was the third in official continuity, adapting the mantle after the death of Jason Todd. The interesting thing about him is we really got to see a lot more character growth with that character. He made his debut in a flashback issue in 1989's Batman 436, where we learned that he was a very young child. He was actually in the audience during that Flying Grayson's accident, which was a murder that actually killed Dick Grayson's parents. And what goes on is how he brought, instead of getting found by Batman like the other Robins, he sort of pushed his way into it and was accepted. He really showed his detective acumen. I will say right off the bat, he is my favorite Robin. He might not be the most proficient fighting of the Robins. That would be a bit of a stretch. But he is clearly the biggest detective mind and the smartest of the bunch. It has been known by many times in many issues referenced as him, the detective that will, eventually overtake Batman, supersede him, if you will. He's the best fit for that. He's truly a great Robin. He was also a very brave Robin, willing to always put his life on the line. I liked that character. We got to see that character grow greatly under Chuck Dixon's run, where we got to see him training, going to different places to train, as well as honing his mental acumen as well into things they've done. We've got to see him in low points, where he was at his lowest lows, trying to figure out what to do next, and showing how he uses his brains to overcome situations where his brawn would not cover it, making him my personal favorite Robin. Now, the next Robin would be another one that a lot of people don't think about, Stephanie Brown. She was Spoiler. Her dad was the villainous Clue Master, and she wasn't really a Robin very long. Okay. She debuted in Detective Comics 647. Unlike her predecessors, she wasn't created to be a Robin. And matter of fact, she said she was a different character. She was Spoiler. We also got to see a lot of growth with that character too. She was only Robin for a very short time, but she was a very interesting character, and I hope to see DC using her even more. Now, the last Robin to talk about is none other than Damian Wayne, and I'm going to admit, I absolutely hated this Robin when he started, but then he grew on me, just like Guy Gardner, a U.S. agent. You like him because he rubs you the wrong way. He's just different that way. He's not like when you want to go, hey, but let's be friends. He's sort of like the dick that just happened to come in and be the third wheel, if you will. But that's what makes him cool. He's very unique that way. He inherited the mantle after Tim Drake graduated to what he called himself Red Robin. He quit just being Robin. He came from Ra's al Ghul. The storyline's a lot with him that Grant Morrison introduced. And Batman 655 was his origin. He claimed to be the son. He actually is Bruce Wayne's son. That's what makes another interesting thing. He's the only biological child so far that we're aware of. His mother, Talia al Ghul, genetically perfected and trained him since birth to be an assassin. And now think about it. He's trained to be an assassin by Talia al Ghul, which was his mother, which is therefore his grandfather is Ra's al Ghul. Now think about how dynamic and interesting setup that is, how he goes against all the grain of what he was raised to be with Batman. It makes him a very, very interesting character. So he's the newest Robin currently. You can see him in books like Super Sons and the Teen Titans and things. And as I said, I did not like this character, but he is completely grown on me. I really enjoy this character now, making him a very moving on up my list. I'm having a hard time. I think my very first favorite Robin is going to be Tim Drake. Probably next, believe it or not, Jason Todd. There's just something about him that I really like. Then probably by Dick Grayson, and then Damian. But I tell you, those are tough calls. They're all pretty darn interesting characters, but those are my thoughts. What are yours? What's your favorite Robin? What's your least favorite Robin? Did I miss something that I should have mentioned? Let me know in the comments. All right, and until next time, keep it frugal.